Well booked tonight. She did give me the.
Start the recording. It's all yours.
All right, so I'd like to call the meeting of the planning board at the Village of Tuxedo Park to order on September 25th at 7:02. What happened? How about our recording secretary?
She had a death in the family. I
Oh,
told her I'd take some notes today, and tomorrow or later this week, she'll look at the recording and do the minutes.
Okay, perfect.
All taken care of.
I didn't notice somebody was missing. Let me start by saying that I don't have anything except allergies, so don't worry about the cough. For starters, I'd like to officially welcome our newest member, Ms. Stephanie Stahl, who is been on the board for a while. We just haven't had a meeting, but she's official and she signed the book and everything. And still thinks this is going to be fun. And other than that, I don't have any other opening comments. Anybody else have anything they need to say? All right, so then Vanham Properties LLC, construction of a new house on the vacant lot at 182 Tuxedo Road, parcel 106-1-26. And as everybody knows, this is the, until very recently, very overgrown lot at the curve of Tuxedo Road where it branches into going up to Tower Hill or going down to the lake. And it has been crying out for something. So please come up. We have chairs for you. And oh, good.
If you'd like
I was
to.
gonna print some out and didn't.
I actually have some extra stuff. If somebody wants to use it.
And so if you can, I mean, this is the first meeting, so we're looking for,
There's a little bit bigger table.
oh, good. So we're looking for an introduction and an explanation and then we'll have some comments. Obviously, this is an initial meeting. This
Yes.
is not the first time we're gonna be seeing each other. But hopefully when we leave here today, we'll have an idea of where to go moving forward. You're also going simultaneously in front of the Board of Architectural Review, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so those two processes definitely run in parallel and everything comes together at some point. And we believe it or not, we endeavor to make this as easy and smooth a process as possible.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So, please, the only thing I would say is if you can officially introduce yourself and your firm and your firm's address, so we have it on the record, and then carry on.
My name is Irina Ioffi. The name of the company is Irina Ioffi Architect. I'm located in Pleasantville, 412 Lane, Pleasantville, New York. I'm registered architect in New York and Connecticut. And I've been practicing architecture for 30+ years, and mostly residential work, a lot of custom homes. I'm very excited to work in Village of Tuxedo Park. I have known about this village. I visited this on a tour, and I really admire the architecture. I think it's the most beautiful compendium of historical architecture in at least North America, and I really admire it. And I'm hoping that whatever I'm designing is going to fit well into this very unique surroundings. So I worked with my client on this project, which is located on 182 Tuxedo Road. I read through all the regulations. I fully understand that it's in a very visible site, which is located in a gateway overlay district, which poses some of the challenges because we had to obey the rule of 150 feet setback from the road. So that was really the start of the design. And this line is on a drawing. Maybe it's not very visible, but this is the line that is right here.
I'm an engineer, I can resolve it.
Yes. So this is the setback from the curb of the Tuxedo Road.
Can you put this on my copy so I can see?
Yes, sure. It's actually right here. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't print the way I wanted it to be, but maybe next time I'll do this a little bit more. This is that setback line, 150. And then it becomes, at some point, it becomes a side setback. Just see it here.
I mean, that's this heavy
Yes, this is
dashed
this is
line.
the line. Yes, that's the line. It meets with this line. So they meet together right here. So really the buildable area is not very big. And what makes it even more challenging is that we have a existing sewer drainage on the property, which is town sewer drainage. And we also have a storm pipe that kind of bisects the property in the middle. So when I looked at all of this with my client, we decided that probably the only place for this house is where we currently locating this, like in this triangular area between. So what I was trying to do also to stay away from the sewer pipe at least 10 feet. So this is the line that shows that setback. So that created this this triangular piece right here, where we squeeze in this house. So the idea was like to maximize the views that is toward the Tower Hill Road, because it kind of like during the winter months, my client told me that there is some peek through the trees into the view of the lake. So we try to locate like the master bedroom, which is on the second floor. That would be the only one that is going to be looking over the lake, because anything on the first floor is probably not going to have the views. But that was pretty important to my client. So all the rooms, main rooms, are going to be located on the west side of the house, and the south side of the house also have like beautiful lawn, and it's overseeing Tuxedo Road. So I try to design this in keeping in mind that it's going to be visible from all the sides. So elevations were very important for me, but that's something I'm probably going to cover during the architectural review board meeting more. I don't know how much you're interested in that topic.
We're interested in your process, but
Yes.
we are definitely the
Yes.
technical board.
Yes, I
So-
understand. Yes. So I initially had a survey, existing survey, which is this, that is drawn by hand. So in order for me to start designing, I actually copied that into AutoCAD, and I used all the lines. So what you see here is really my copy.
Mhm.
We just hired, retain the engineers, the surveyors engineers, Spargo and Youngblood, and they're going to be working with us on updated survey and the drainage design and all the utility design, the topography, and plot plan. So this is really a concept that I would like to put in front of you, so I could hear your thoughts and advice, and definitely would be very interested to see if we're going in the right direction. But I know that there were questions about these lines, and honestly, I honestly don't know what they mean at all. Like the line, the meets and bounds along the curve, and then the meets and bounds here, and I'm not sure what they represent. So hopefully, the surveyor will answer all these questions.
Yes. Oh,
But the access to the property, we would like to use the existing driveway because we cannot really enter from Tuxedo Road according to the rules. So, so we're gonna keep the existing gravel driveway that comes from the Tower Hill Road. And from that driveway, we're creating a driveway for the house with a courtyard in front and another driveway that goes toward the two-car garage here. So in terms of the elevations of the house, I was trying to work with all existing topography because we're so close to this 150 feet setback from the road. And I know that when I read the regulations, you don't want to see any big development in this area. You don't want to change the grades. So I tried to arrive with the patios at the existing grade. So so the house is slightly above, so we could handle the drainage. So it's going to be at 586. And on the back, it's going to be like a step down, and then we're going to be at the existing grade.
especially
So-
because it's the gateway overlay, and of course, the outside of everything is registered in the National Registry, et cetera. When we get done, it should look nice and it should look like it's always been there, right? So,
Exactly, yes. So we planning to retain a landscape architect who we hope to work with your board before and work in Tuxedo Park. And I asked actually John to give me a couple of recommendations, and we're going to interview them. And we're definitely going to work with a landscape architect to make sure that this really nicely landscaped and screened. I kind of like showed at this point just some general screening and some trees along the driveway toward the house, and maybe like some new trees around the patio. But honestly, I think we still have like a lot of work to do with the landscape. So in terms of the easement, I asked my client, and he told me that the reason is easement for the neighbors to use this driveway.
there is,
There is,
okay.
but he just brought to me some paperwork, which I didn't even look at. So I don't know. I have to see if there is anything. I mean, we can maybe make copies of this. Yes.
As I said, this isn't gonna be our first meeting, so
Yes, exactly.
we'll get all of this stuff solved. I just,
Mhm.
so,
I think that's about.
okay, so I'll start to my left.
Mhm.
Stephanie, questions, comments?
Not at this point.
Okay. Rich?
Tuxedo Road, you have an opening that you could use for a driveway? Which you're not. You're gonna go around up Tower Hill and use that driveway coming
Well,
in?
I would love to enter, I mean, we would love to enter from Tuxedo Road, but from what we read and when I spoke to John, he didn't advise us to,
Mr. Whitty, this property is in the Gateway Overlay District, and there's no new driveways permitted on the Gateway Overlay District.
Okay, okay.
So I'm just, I'll play devil's advocate for a second and
Mhm.
say this is one of the, there's a stone wall along the entire length
Mhm.
of the road
Yes.
here, which has the original driveway gate opening in it. So,
I don't really interpret that as a driveway. It was,
Okay.
it was a horse path when it was a garden 100 years ago. I don't think, that was something the board wanted me to take into consideration at this point. They could appeal my decision,
Of course.
if somebody strongly feels that's where the driveway should be. I also feel, quite frankly, it's on the inside of the radius, that you're not gonna get the 250 foot of, sight distance in either direction, or maybe one, but not the other.
right,
But my initial issue was it never really was a driveway for a house. It
okay,
was a carriage trail for the gardens.
so,
Okay. My one thing was, Tuxedo Road can be busy and that's a 90-degree turn.
right,
It's not easy to get in and out. The easement that the driveway that goes to one or two other houses,
Mhm.
okay. That's on this property? That's your property that somebody gave an easement to years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, there is easement, I remember I submitted like 10
The-
years ago.
The driveway, is on Mr. Umansky's property. So
Okay,
we raised the question about easements when we didn't know exactly who owned the road near the current intersection of the driveway and Tower Hill. The red marks that were on the map that I gave you just a moment ago, Mr. Whitty.
Yes.
We raised the question about the easements because we didn't know who actually owned that red property.
mm-hmm,
And they're gonna have the property resurveyed and maybe something will surface as to who owns that red property, or is it Mr. Umansky's property? We've been under the interpretation it's been your property all these years.
You remember 10 years ago, it was the same question. I remember, no, anyway, we'll do it again.
Mm.
But as far as I remember, it belongs to the driveway, to our property.
okay. I mean, I think it's, that's just something that, yes, needs to be clarified. If that is your property, great. If it's not your property, then then the question is whose property is it, of course? And then there should be an easement for that and while we're talking about this, in the other gore, I mean, it looks like it should be your property and I don't know, we want to make sure that whatever's going on in these two pieces is in harmony with both you and if there isn't, if you are not the owner, I'm not saying one way or another because I don't know. There is some happy resolution of questions of maintenance and landscaping and liability and all the rest of that stuff. So,
Mhm.
And also if he doesn't, sorry to interrupt, but if he
Please.
doesn't own the property that's shown in red, then he would need a variance, a 736 variance from the BZA here. You might have heard it in the town as a 280A variance, but he wouldn't have the required frontage on a public road, so on a town village road.
On a village road.
So it's kind of a threshold issue for this one, just, I mean, he's already coordinating with the BAR and the planning board, depending on how the survey comes back. It was great to see that email come through. They may also need to apply to the BZA if he doesn't own that.
Mhm.
But hopefully, Sporeco's,
Hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, the tax maps show that as being part of the lot, but,
Mhm.
but then there's these lines on a map, so somebody's
Yes.
gonna figure it out.
yeah, right. Okay.
Definitely 100% it belongs to property.
That would be the best answer that you could get.
Yes.
Then it would
Yeah.
just breeze right over that issue.
Yep, perfect,
I can get proof again.
perfect.
yeah, I probably shouldn't share this, but I looked at this property years ago for myself, way before you bought it. And if I remember, there might be, a high water table on that property. And I mean, John would know more than I would about it, but, I think you have a lot of, pipes through that land, through that property.
Yeah,
Gotta be careful.
yeah, there's sewer and there's storm sewer.
Yeah,
And I guess the only other thing while we're talking about easements is let's just make sure that we're also clear about the easements that the village has for access to those pipes. Especially since we're close to the stormwater line. I don't know if you said 10 feet. I don't know if that's a number that came out of the easement or that was your best.
This was actually, I got it from John, and because this property was in front of the multiple boards several years ago. And I read through some materials and through some notes from the engineer, town engineer, and there was a he mentioned that 10-foot setback. So that's what
I think it's actually 10 feet on each side of the pipe.
and
Right.
that's what I
Okay.
did.
Just, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I'm not suggesting that there's a problem, but now's the time to fix it if we're a foot too far one way or the other.
Yeah.
So,
If a copy of all of those could be provided to John and then he can get it to our office to review.
that would be great, or if John has it somewhere.
It was something, I mean, I probably have it on my iPad. I can show it to you, but
Well, you can email it to me tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, that's,
Mhm.
all right.
Yes, we're aware of the, again, John mentioned that, and again, I saw some reports. I'm aware of high level of the groundwater, so that's why we're not considering doing the basement for this house, but we would like to explore possibility to do some crawl space for mechanical, and also we would like to insulate the floors possibly, so we'll see what we can do about that. But I spoke to my client and he said it's okay, he doesn't need a basement.
How many square feet is the house?
So the house is approximately 5,000 square foot. The footprint is 20, close to 24, I'm sorry, 30, I'm sorry, 3,948, so approximately 4,000, including the screen porch. So we are under coverage. I calculated the coverage. We might also consider to do the pervious driveway.
Okay.
So
And it's a 2-acre lot.
that's 2.7.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it appears, again, with all these other questions, it appears that that there are not gonna be, unless something comes up, it doesn't appear that there are now any outstanding need for any variances. It appears to be as of right, unless I missed something.
That's the way we went over it briefly a month or so ago, that at the time, it didn't appear to need any variance.
Yes.
That's good.
So I guess we just have to clear this segments.
We gotta make sure we know where the segments are. I'm just gonna go through the list of things that I put together before the meeting. Part of our purview is looking at issues of not just making sure that you missed the existing sewers, but how and where you're gonna connect in power and potable water and sewage. So, that'll need to get onto a site plan. We'll want to see more details of the road and proposed grading and drainage for that, stormwater plan for the whole site. Obviously, you'll need a SWIP for construction, but all of those issues are part of our purview. Eventually, and it's too early to do it yet, we'll need to determine what the area of disturbance is, right? We'll wind up drawing a line on this that will encapsulate any place that you'll be doing work. So driveway, trenching for utilities, things like that. I mean, part of, and that is one of the things that goes on the final site plan that we approve as part of the process. And the only other thing that I have, which is more of a comment than a requirement, there are in the stone wall, there's the existing, not a driveway opening with the pedestrian opening next to it.
Mhm.
And at the point of the curve is another pedestrian opening. And around here, before you get to the gravel driveway, is another pedestrian opening. And that's fine. My suggestion is if you have any plans to do new decorative gates or anything, you know, there was recently on Mountain Farm, there was a similar gateway that got a gate in it because the road was removed. If you're planning on doing anything like that, get it into this plan and let's make it part of let's make that concept part of the design concept for the whole project, whether it gets phased in as a later phase of construction or whatever is.
Mhm.
But my recommendation is that anything you plan to do to the site get incorporated into this initial plan.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we'd love to see people, but why the heck would you want to come back to us for a gate?
Okay.
But like I said, that's a recommendation, not a
Mhm.
demand. Kelly, anything that pops up that you think may,
I think there's a couple things that, I mean, the biggest thing, obviously, like I said, was a threshold issue was, access and whether a variance is needed, but that's gonna be resolved in a couple of weeks, so that's fantastic. The bulk table, I think, was missing a couple of things that should be added. The existing and proposed driveway site distance should be on there. There should be a row in there for the driveway width. And there was something in there for an accessory building and a shed, which referred to two provisions that don't actually deal with accessory buildings and sheds. So that should be, it should just be cleaned up a bit when
Oh.
it comes in.
I don't
Um,
see the accessory use building. Oh, okay, accessory use building. Shed.
I'm sorry, is there an accessory building?
I mean, it's not,
but I could be wrong.
well, that was, I just got it from the table that I got from John. And we don't have accessory buildings here, so it's NA.
Okay, that,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
the village code reference, I feel like that one could just probably come out. That way there's no
Maybe should
confusion, because
just
I actually
take it-
looked for the
should I
accessory
just-
building too.
Okay, I should just take it out. Okay.
And then it should also include the building height for, in terms of maximum number of stories.
So, so far it's the height, it's just the height, but you need the stories.
She has for the third one from the bottom, she does have a height of the.
I have a
building.
height, it's
49,
43 feet, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it needs to also, doesn't your bulk table also say like 3.5 is the max?
I think it says 3.5 stories or 70 feet,
Okay,
and I think she has the 70 feet under allowance for compliance.
Mm-hmm.
And she's showing 40 is at 43, the text is a little small here.
yeah, I don't know if
So
you fit that many
we'll check
stories
as
in
we
there.
go along, but I think you're in
Yeah.
compliance for the moment, so.
I think so too. Like I said, I think it's just a couple of things we saw that should be cleaned up. And the other thing was the overlay district, but you guys talked about that and you'll be talking about that going forward a lot, so.
yeah, just remember that it's there. It's just another set of,
Yeah, I think I've checked it here,
Mhm.
as a overlay.
And that kind of limited the area that you could build in.
Yeah, well.
So-
very much so. Yeah,
Very much
it's
so.
always amazing how small the buildable is. I have a question for John. This is obviously a corner lot. And then do you assign a side yard and a rear yard for the other two? Or are they both the same or?
I think rear side at the same distance, it's 50,
The
right?
rear and side setbacks are the same, the front is different.
Right.
I think when we went over it, we were just using the setbacks for the Gateway Overlay District, which are more stringent.
More stringent,
The
right?
question is like, where do I stop? Like, like Tower Hill Road supposedly is not part of the overlay district. So that means that I could, but when I spoke to John, he said I should just continue this line, the
Well,
setback.
it's the lot,
150.
it's the lot that's in the Gateway Overlay
Okay, so
District,
so
not the
then
road.
I have to
Yeah.
go 150 from the road.
Yeah.
But from one Tuxedo or both roads?
So I did
Oh.
it from Tuxedo and I did it from Tower Hill, but at some point, because this is another property, so I did the 50 from this line.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Like I said, it's the lot that's in the Gateway Overlay District, so I'll check the regulations.
I mean, and then of course, it's only a problem if it's a problem. We'll see if we need it. That's pretty much all I have. Like I said, I mean, and have you been to the bar yet or?
No, I
Okay.
haven't. John said that I had to meet with you guys first, and then when is the bar meeting?
The bar meets the first and third Mondays of each month.
So can we go in front
I'll-
of them next Monday?
Everything has to be submitted 10 days in advance for all the boards.
But I
So-
submitted like long time ago.
Yes, but we weren't prepared to discuss it at the bar meeting. I've notified the bar that this may be coming. Let me check a few things on
Mhm.
Monday, tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, if I was you, I would like to get in front of the bar as soon as possible. However, until we really understand the survey,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure you should go in front of the bar.
Mm. And we are like approximately 3 to 4 weeks from the survey, like he just started.
That's actually really fast. Surveyors are like really far
really?
behind right now, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
they are rushing for you.
Mhm.
I hope so.
Okay.
all right.
I mean, it would be nice to at least start the conversation, maybe like we could have this informal meeting with Bar, so at least like I could have some, because I do have already elevations, I submitted this, so.
Yes, and they've been circulated, the elevations that you had sent to me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it would be great like to hear from them and see if we're going in the right direction.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so what would be the next step, like after we get the survey and?
If you scan and email me the documents that you have there tomorrow, so we have it electronically.
Okay,
You get the survey done and see what's going on with the meets and bounds descriptions. I'll talk to the bar chair tomorrow to see if she wants to see this application as premature as it is, at this point. And then I'll let you know when the next meeting is. I mean, it is, the first Monday in October, whatever date that is.
okay.
So.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be away, like half of the October, so. But,
Let me check the meeting first.
yeah, okay,
We still have some time.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you,
Thank you.
very nice meeting you. This.
You emailed me
Okay.
copies. I'm
Okay.
fine.
Visible companion.
Email me copies of this tomorrow, so I have it electronic.
can live it.
Okay, that's fine. Wait till we look at it first.
But 100% it's easement.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
We had a second topic on the agenda regarding an engineer for the planning board.
Yes.
We've been using Weston and Sampson fairly regularly, even though the planning board hasn't been that busy. I don't know if we want to explore other engineers or not. Weston and Sampson definitely has a knowledge of the infrastructure that's necessary, especially for planning board review. Unless you want to entertain, another engineer.
I mean, I guess,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You brought up the question of the possibility of a different engineer.
Mhm.
I guess because, I don't know, there was some issue with the. How did we get here? Let's start over
How
again.
did we get here? I was asked by some members of the trustees if we could spread out some of the responsibilities of our professionals. And I mentioned to them that Weston and Sampson, even though we use them quite a bit, they do have a history here. They do have a very working knowledge of the water and sewer and the roads. So that's why I kind of brought it up to you. Do you want to entertain another engineer? Should we stay with Weston and Sampson? There was some concerns that the principal with Weston and Sampson is running his office out of southern Florida, but they do have local engineers and local people that can actually come here and do site visits and attend meetings if necessary, if not, on Zoom.
Right.
So I just wanted to air that out with the planning board. So especially me in my position, I've been working with Weston and Sampson for probably close to 20 years. I don't want anybody to think that we're using them just because I keep going to Weston and Sampson.
I mean, I don't see any need to change,
Mhm.
unless there's a need to change. And I agree, especially given the Baroque complexity of our infrastructure and everything else, that working with someone with experience and history is useful.
Yes, it is.
So I don't see any,
Okay.
I don't see any need to change anything. I don't
Like
know
I
how-
said, they have local engineers. They recently, within the last several months, purchased, I believe, Brooker Engineering out of Rockland County, I believe.
Yep.
So they have local people to do field review and on-site work.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're, not telling the trustees what to do, but if there's a concern about something like that, that's a more village-wide issue. So long as they're able to be here when we need them and keep performing the high level of service that they have up till now.
I'll also tell you that their rates seem to be compatible with other engineers in the area. So I don't think we're getting.
Well, that's where I was going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, sometimes when you use a company over and over and over, there's a term called speeding,
Mhm.
which simply means they start out pretty good.
Mhm.
And the next thing is they just keep on jumping. Okay. And sometimes competition is good, but as you say, if you're happy with them.
Okay, so let's,
Okay,
I'd say
so-
that let's keep the
So
way
we'll
it
stay
is
with
until we have a
Weston and
reason
Sampson
to.
for planning board issues until further notice.
Yeah, good.
John, can I ask you, wasn't there a house approved on this property at some time?
I don't remember it being approved. It was reviewed, there's plans and stuff in the file.
Okay.
Quite frankly, even if it was approved, the permit was never pulled, and obviously the project never happened, and that was 10 years ago and everything's expired.
Mhm.
So
Okay. And are you, do you know of any major water problems with this piece of property?
no more than what we really briefly touched on tonight. There is stormwater that goes through that property. There's a stormwater pipe there.
Mhm.
There's a sewer main that goes through the property. I've been there on at least 2 occasions in the last 2 years. There doesn't appear to be any sewer lines leaking at this point.
That's good.
And it is a low-lying area. It was a garden many years ago. But I'm not aware of any water issues other than the fact that it obviously collects water when it rains and then it either soaks into the ground or the sewer or the stormwater pipes take it away. Also tell you while we're here that the water main goes up Tower Hill Road. So the expectation through our water department would be they would connect to the water main at the mouth of the existing driveway.
Right.
And the sewer line would be connected to the sewer line that currently crosses that property. That's, the engineers can confirm all that, but that's the general expectations of what we would expect for the water and sewer. Electricity, they would contact Orange and Rockland to determine how they were gonna get electric to that house. There's obviously electric at some point to the 2 neighboring homes.
Right.
So
Anything else, Stephanie? We have minutes to approve, but we have only two people here who were at those meetings. And so I don't think we can vote on it because we don't,
You could only vote on it if Stephanie had watched the video and believed that the minutes accurately reflected what occurred. Or you can push them off till you have a third that was here.
we,
Yeah,
we'll do that. We'll table this until we have
You know, she's watched all of the prior meeting. No, I'm just kidding.
but you know,
We don't want to put her on this.
I don't want her to have to answer any questions about it, where they do the quiz.
No.
All right, so then I
Okay, that's
think we
all.
can push that off.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any business for the board? Wow, less than an hour. Okay. In that case, can I have an emotion to adjourn, please?
Second it.
All right, very good. All in favor?
Yay.
Aye. All right, thank you very much.
Tell Ashley it was because I was.